And can I show you one of our new designs? Higher Self Horsepower. The Western kind of, hi Jamie. It's got a Western design to it. Hi Jamie. Yeah, we're going to start off with a meditation here. Yeah, little Texas flair. Apparently people are really into the Western. Hi Lori. They're into like a Western, like it's popular right now. And so Brian and I are like, great, we like that. Suits us. Okay. All right. We're going to do a meditation. And this one is 15 minutes. So let me cue that up and we're going to get on into it. It's only 15 minutes. I'll wake you up. But it's 15 minutes. But if you sit up, Lori, if you sit up, if you feel like you might fall asleep, then you might want to sit up. I mean, we can not do it if you want. Although I said we were going to do it, and maybe Kate will still show up, and it wasn't just for Kate, but I think, yeah, we're going to do it. Here we go. I like to get us into it anyway. Okay, I'll take myself off, and it'll start within just, a few seconds. Welcome to your sacred practice. In the meditative journey ahead, you'll be guided to connect deeply with your inner being. And the name of this inner being, as we will refer to it in this experience, is I am. And you would find this I am in your inner being and with a full through connection to your soul and the universe. But it is a sense of dropping into the inner being to find the pure seat of I am. And so let's begin to tap into that inner essence. And I invite you to take 3 slow and easy breaths at your own pace. And as you do, you might imagine or sense that you are breathing deeply into this inner essence of I am. And so that this seat of the I am can be made more present to your awareness, take a moment here to just call in or imagine that there is this pleasant fall of light. Maybe it feels or seems a bit like water that is fully illumined, this fall of light, a light fall. And as it does, it creates a clarity, a cleansing, and a sense of being refreshed all at once. Let it fall down from the top of your head, down over and all through, so that it might seem as though it's caressing and flowing and clearing and cleansing the outside energy of your aura, and also moving all the way through. And as it does this, you may have turned on this font already. Notice that this glow or this resonance, this coherent energy within you of I am, is made more clear in your awareness. Let this fall of light move down all over and all through you. Take a moment to just relish in this cleansing energy. clearing away and refreshing with this fall of light. And as you are more deeply connected to your inner being and the seat of I am, and you might feel yourself and the gravity between you and the earth, feeling yourself grounded in this energy and centered here in I am. And as you imagine or sense, perhaps it's a sort of visualization for you. I'll let you decide what the sense of connecting with I am energy within you. I suggest to you to take a moment to remember who you are. Remember who you are. Remember who you are. And you might create a coherence about this remembering who you are by resounding within your mind, within your heart, within your inner essence, who I am. Resound this who I am several times, 3 to 5. Take a moment to do this in your inner being. And as we're sensing this I am within in your inner being, it may be that it is correlated to a certain part of your physical body, and you might notice that you can find I am throughout your entire physical body. And just as a way to notice another part of your being and your physical body that the I am is resonating, notice that your heartbeat seems to vibrate in the remembrance of I am. I am, I am, I am, I am. One of the most natural and true expressions of your I am is love. For in order to you to have any awareness, there is a bond between awareness of. There is a subject and object relationship always present with awareness. And that relationship is the frequency of love. And so if you would like to take a moment here to resound within you, and this resounding may be in your heart, creating this coherence, I am love. I am love. I am love. And moving now to another potent and pure frequency of your I am. And this one you might notice in your throat area as it resounds expression, and that is the expression that you create and you receive. And this statement, this frequency, I am true, am true. I am true. And now let's explore the I am that facilitates your envisioning, your processing, your delivering and receiving inspiration, finding this up in the head area as a great partner and assistant and also receiver. And resound within, I am mind. I am mind. I am mind. And as an attunement, you may notice that the I am mind is creating a connection between the deep inner essence and the higher perspective of the soul mind. And so it isn't operating on its own, it is a conduit. I am mind. And now finding the deeper part of you in this sacral area, in the sacrum, around in the belly, lower belly, mid belly, perhaps. And this place is one that attunes you to creating, sensing and feeling. And in this area, let's let the I am pure tone resound. I am presence. I am presence. I am presence. And the one I am conspired to dispatch you into this universe, this one song. And as you feel yourself held in the embrace of gravity, in the eternal now moment, and at the seat area, finding that pure I am energy that says, I am here. I am here. I am here. And expanding throughout your entire being, the truth I am eternal. I am eternal. I am eternal. And to bring this attunement full circle, I invite you once again to remember who you are. And resounding all throughout your being. Noticing as you do that it is from the depths of your inner being, and it decrees this call to the entire universe, rippling out into fractal energies, resounding and being received, and resounding and changing and collaborating and contributing. I am. I am. I am. And so now coming back to your contribution, the path, your path of light, with each footfall, stamping upon your journey. I am. I am. I am. And with a nice big deep breath in to bring you to your here and now, as you remember who you are. Hi. Okay. Did you fall asleep? Are you here with me? The camera's not quite right. Maybe that's better. Thought I had it set how I wanted it. That's better. I thought you're here. I'm here too. Alielle is here too. She's having a little dinner. And before we get you on, I almost fell asleep, Jamie. Okay. Actually, before we start the lesson, there's something I want to discuss. I'm inviting. It's just two of you so far, at least on the meeting. If you want to come, you can. You don't have to though. If you want to hang back, this is for folks listening to the replay and everything. With the upcoming edition of sessions in Sacred Sphere. And many of you had expressed that you would be interested in hosting Sacred Sphere sessions and meetings. And so what I have, we're going to start these in July, right? Are we in June? Yeah, July. Just forgot what month it is. Next month. And what I have done is I've created a Calendly calendar, so you could just sign up for it. We're going to have a meeting before anybody does one so that, I can show you what to do. We can just talk about it. And, so it'll be, but it's going to be something like you can make your own. I'm definitely not. I have no intention to micromanage at all, but I do want to give enough support so that you feel like, oh yeah, this is what we're going to do. So what I have is a Calendly link. Hi, Jamie. I'm going to add you here in a second. So that will, I'll just go ahead and click through here. Imagine you are all pretty much acquainted with Calendly anyway, but just to be thorough, there is a link. And so how I have it set up is the later parts of the month, the Monday and the Sunday. And so they both are set for 2-hour time blocks, but I was planning to reduce the Mondays to 90 minutes or even less if you get through it, making it easier for everyone. But if you're running a meeting and you want to go over 90 minutes, that's fine. But I have the expectation for Mondays to be 90 minutes. And generally, I think it's good to go, try to get in and out, as close to the time as possible. So no one feels like, oh, I'll miss something if I don't hang back late, So, but, so this here is like, it's going to sign up for a 2-hour block, but that's just because that's the only way I could do it, because the Sundays are going to remain 2 hours. So that'll be, this is in my time, obviously. So you see, that's July. And then here's August. There's a Monday and a Sunday. So that's the link. When you sign up for one, you will get a confirmation email, and it's actually going to have in the confirmation email my Zoom login. And I'm hoping when we have a meeting before anyone does this, I'm hoping you can just use my Zoom login. You all might need to, whoever wants to do it, might need to sign into my Zoom before, because it might have a 2-step authorization because it's a new browser. Like if you log in, Jamie, then it's going to like send me an email and say, use this code. So we might have to set that up in advance, and also know that if you ever reset your cache or something like that, then we're gonna have to probably go through that 2-step authorization again. The reason I just want you to use my login is because in order for me to make you a user, they call it licensed user on my Zoom account, it costs $17 per person, and that's kind of pricey. I mean, I'll do it if I have to. Because I can even do it like, just sign you up for that month if you're only doing one that month and not the next month. But then that's also kind of a lot of admin. So anyway, I'm just trying to like save some money that I don't necessarily need to spend, and also save some labor that I could actually get too busy to do or forget to do. And I'm just trying to see what will be the simplest process. It may be that the simplest process is to actually pay for your own login. Now, the other thing is that if you have a Zoom account that you are paying for, this is another alternative. And I guess I'm throwing this out there in case anybody has other ideas, is that you could run it from your own Zoom account, but then you're going to need to send me the recording. And, I don't know, that seems like that's putting a little bit more on your plate than this way. The way I have it set up is that it's recording in the cloud, and then I can just go into my Zoom account and download it without having. So there's a few different options, but I just decided to start with this one and see how that works out. So yeah, basically we'll have a meeting before and we'll talk about how to do it. What I would equip you with is a meditation and a class, but you don't have to do those. You don't have to do my meditation, my class. You can do your own meditation, your own class. You can do your own thing altogether. But I wanted to equip you with it if that's what you want. If you want to only do one thing or the other, you know what I mean? So, and I think the best way for me to do that is just actually to put it all in like a Google folder, and then you could go in there and pick whatever you want at any time. And and there'll be shorter lessons, something under 10 minutes or something like that. And a meditation, I guess I'll put a variety of them in there, and you all can pick. So yeah, and then on the meeting that we have preliminarily too, I'll make sure that you know how to share screen, and if we have these things in a Google folder, that you know how to go to the Google folder and then screen share from there, and I'll work out all the kinks, both logistically and, just philosophically. And of course, we'll use that time for anything that you want to, that I can help you with. You're like, I think I want to practice this class. Like Jamie has her tarot class that maybe she wants to practice that on a sacred sphere. It could be any part of it too, Jamie. It doesn't have to be like the first lesson. It could be the one lesson on the Tower card if you were going to do that. Anything you want to do. You've got a very friendly, engaged, and valuable audience. So yeah. And then so far as the practice portion goes too, that you can kind of run those however you like as well. If we have enough who show up, then we can have it so that there is breakout rooms And the thing is too, with me expanding the lessons, I'm going to hit it a little. I'm going to hit all of the marketing harder so that we can get all of these programs more populated. And but in the meantime, if we have the turnout that we have sometimes, then you found, you're looking for the inner child meditation you did a few weeks ago. You find it in Sacred Sphere. I think there's 2 of them in there in Sacred Sphere, by the way. And is there 2? I think there might be 2. There's 2 soul contract ones. Maybe there's only one inner child. Yeah, only one inner child. Sorry. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, you might do a gallery session. You could bring someone yourself, or we could put the call out and have 1 or 2 guests come to receive in the gallery session, or however you want to run it. But those are things we'll work out on the meeting. So I'm going to add you, Jamie. Lori, the one I did recently, it is in, hold on, I have the meditation catalog here. Yeah. I'll screen share while we're here. I have the Sacred Sphere meditation catalog open. So you see, go to the meditation catalog. If I go back, then you'll see it's it's in the second. See, this is the first. They're all alphabetical. So meditation catalog A through I am, which is the one we actually just did. And so right now it's the top of the second page, but I'm adding there a lot. So these things, it might be pushed down even further, but they're still going to stay in alphabetical order by the first letter of the title. Okay. Yeah. You found it in Modern Mystic? Okay, cool. There's some in Modern Mystic, but I'm adding like everything in Sacred Sphere. You know what I mean? But they're the same one. I only have one inner child. So yeah. Hi, Jamie. How are you? Any thoughts? Any questions? Anything? How can I serve you today?
No, it sounds good to me.
Okay.
Hi. I like the idea of not having to pay $17 per person.
Yeah, it's a lot.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. I mean, Zoom is kind of expensive that way. I mean, it's not that expensive up front just for one single user, but they find a way to, like, if you do a webinar, it's like $100. And so I do my webinars through StreamYard. I do pay a good amount for StreamYard, but StreamYard doesn't have breakout rooms. Like, there's all these platforms. They're just a little limited. And as an entrepreneur, you're like, oh my gosh, I have to pay for another thing.
Yeah.
So anyway, yeah. Any other thoughts? Hi, Kate. Do you want to hop on with us, Kate? I'll send you an invite link in case you want to come into the studio, but it's okay if you don't want to. We just did our meditation, so you can, yeah. Anyway, sorry, Jamie. I asked you a question, and then I started talking to them. Any thoughts or questions? Woo! Sorry.
No, I don't think so. I'll take a look at the Calendly and try to coordinate between my summer course right now and
Awesome. How long is your summer course?
10 weeks.
Oh, okay. Is it more intensive too? It's like concentrated?
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a summer session. Well, it's college, so it's a summer session in college.
Mm-hmm.
What is the course?
So one of them is like human developmental processes, and
That's
the
fun.
other, it's fun, but it's the most intense one. It's like,
like stages of development, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. I really enjoy
that. A lot of papers.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I've never taken one as in depth as what you're doing, 100%. But I love the subject.
It's a very fascinating subject. So I'm hoping that will carry me through all the papers and reading.
Exactly. Don't forget to channel. I know you have actual specific content, but as you take that in, you can also channel.
Right. Right. Oh.
Yeah. Well, you're doing so great. Did you wait? How did you move forward on the thoughts of whether you might change programs?
I think I've stayed. I've settled on staying.
Okay.
And that's because I I've been like following conversations online about the other school I was considering, and someone was saying they had been happy with it, but they're changing the structure.
Oh, so you don't know you're going to get.
Yeah, and some people are pretty upset because it's like they're going all asynchronous classes,
Okay.
which
So you
I
then take them all passively on your own, and then you show up for Q&As, basically?
yes, and the Q&As are kind of um, from what this person was describing, chaotic, because it's just everybody who wants to be there from all different classes and like randomly assigned professors.
Huh.
So that's not that helpful, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That is interesting. And because it's like such a broad,
yeah,
like what you're, it's therapy, like all of therapy.
yeah, I know. So I think I'll just, I'll see how the summer goes, but I think I'm just gonna stay because at least I know what to expect.
Because the other way, the asynchronous, totally asynchronous, almost sounds like it's like it should. I would think, is it a lot cheaper because you're almost completely self-guided then?
No, see, that's the thing. It would be a little
Yeah.
bit more expensive, and I just don't think it's worth it. I mean, there were some perks, like they provide all your textbooks for you,
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
but I still don't think that would be equivalent cost wise. And for me, I do really like the personal aspect of it. I do have some asynchronous classes right now, but at least I can connect with people, and it's just I do enjoy that.
Yeah, that
So
is good. Yeah, you'd be up pretty much all on your own,
yeah.
except for showing up for the chaotic Q&As, I
Yeah,
bet.
the chaotic Q&As.
See, at HMI, they have there are things like case conferences and in the practicums, and they're just there for all levels, but it doesn't end up being chaotic at all. You know,
Yeah.
but the subject is much more focused.
Mhm.
It's some people may not be at a certain part of the learning yet, but it's not that big of a deal. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like some question that someone's asking, the 201 doesn't know it yet, but it's almost like they get a preview of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But with yours, with this, it's like so layered. There's so
Right.
many different topics within the topics, within the
Mhm.
topics. Yeah. Well, all right then. Well, thanks for showing up. Thanks for chatting with me. We're going to
Yeah.
do another lesson on a little deeper drill into active listening since we did some counseling last week as an overview. You'll have to tell me what you think, but I'm doing it also through the lens of like what we do. So,
Mhm.
it's a little more, it's going to be a lot more abbreviated than what you learn.
Okay.
But I think, yeah. So if you stick around, if you don't stick around for the whole class, but I'd love to get your feedback.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Awesome.
Lori, I didn't even notice that you said, oh, they're the same. Yeah, but they are the same. I didn't even see that. Drives me crazy too. Oh my gosh, anytime I do that, I'm like, oh, thank goodness you can edit texts now. At least you can on the iPhone, if they've just gone through. Ali, come here, honey. She's hungry, but she's not finding her dinner. She's poking around in a seed bowl that is pretty spent. She doesn't want to go down on the floor. Say hi to everyone, and there's your dinner, okay? You want to have your dinner here? I'll put you right here, and you can be with me while you have your dinner. Oh, excuse me, guys. I just got to fix this. She doesn't want to eat her dinner on the floor. So let me put it in her suspended bowl, and then she can go back in her house. Come here. Don't you run away from me, you little girl. She's starting to get her grown girl tail feathers now, too. Okay, here you go. There's dinner, okay? Go get dinner. There's dinner. All right. In this lesson, we're going to dive a little deeper into active listening, a therapeutic style of listening. And we broached the topic a little bit with the previous recent lesson. And we're going to just talk more deeply about active listening. Although I will say it's a topic that could be really expanded, and I am focusing it down for our specific purposes. I'm going to be talking about how we use active listening for intuitive reading, healing, for also any type of hypnosis or meditation that you're guiding, and also for intuitive coaching. So let's be first clear about what active listening is. A definition, a very general definition of active listening, it's the intentional practice of fully focusing on, receiving, and responding to another's communication. In our cases, that can be verbally and non-verbally, especially, well, in all cases, it's verbally and non-verbally. But I'll say in our cases too, as we are attuned to our energetic listening, it's also intuitively. Broadly, though, it's verbally and non-verbally, and it is without interruption, without assumption, and without projection. And this is, I'll just say it, I think it's also a great way to be a friend too. A really great way to be a friend. In healing work, it means listening to your sitter, your client, or if you're a therapist, your patient, with your whole presence. And that means with your mind and with your body and with your energy field and with your intuitive faculties, not just your ears. I'm going to give us a really great tip about how you can bring in a layer of a certain lens through human design that you can also add to it so that you can be presenting, you can be receiving what might be presenting as is desiring attunement and or intuitive guidance. So why it matters so much in healing work? Very generally, it will provide a safe space. Your clients will feel safe, they will feel seen, they will be more open and available, their hearts will be more open as you are truly listening. Listening often is it's that first layer of healing. If someone is able to share this topic, this concern, or maybe this pain that they are carrying, and they might be releasing something that they haven't even spoken to themselves fully yet. And if they can put it in this safe space, that alone is helping it to dissipate. That alone is helping it in your witnessing of it with kind, compassionate, loving ears and eyes and energy. That is already doing a big piece of healing. So as a facilitator of any kind, listening will also sharpen your intuitive perception. It will reveal subconscious and energetic patterns that are presenting when we are slow and really present. And again, I find it really key to drop into your body and as if you are also listening with your body or from your body. And I'm going to demonstrate this a little bit. I'll bet you'll be able to either see this with your actual, physical sensory acuity, and you can also hear, you can hear it, you can see it, and then you'll be able to feel it as well. So I'm going to show you how more of the non-active as the listening in the sense of listening with my head, and something that could cause me to filter a lot, something that could cause me to have a sense of potentially projecting, and then the non-active listening, you might say, versus the active listening. So I'm going to first bring it up, and it's the sense of even being up, and I'm going to breathe. I kind of tightened my belly just intuitively. It's like, show me how to listen that way. And there's the sense of a person looking at you this way, and as they're listening to you, and there's a tension even, and there's a tension. Their head sometimes comes forward, and they could be looking at you from the side, not because they are wary of you as much as they're wanting to see how they can listen to it. Like this, I'm angling my left. It's interesting just pretending to do it. Spirit's helping me to channel it. I'm angling my left side to you because the left brain, this is before it actually crosses over. So the left brain is that logic and analytical one. So they could be leaning toward you this way and have this great tension about it. There's another thing that could happen is sometimes a person's looking around and trying to find something creative to say even before the person is done speaking. And there's this sense of leaning forward and really trying to logically and analytically pay attention to the words. Oh, I got something. I've got some analysis and I'm gonna do something about it now. I'm gonna say something. And when they stop talking, but they haven't stopped talking yet. So I'm going over the thing I'm about to say. Ugh, get rid of that. Phew, I didn't like that. Clear that away. Now, I'll say this is also how we listen in our lectures, in our classes too, is the intuitive listening, the full person listening. And the sense of it is, though, it is guided by your subconscious, by your intuition, and that really is anchored in the body. As it's correlated to our physical presence, it's anchored in the body. It naturally is going to use our faculties of our physical senses, and it's naturally going to shoot up to our logic, analysis, reasoning, decision making, willpower, and our interpretation machine, which is the mind. The mind is there to be a partner, to help to interpret. And as we drop down, now I'm going to drop down into my body. My body loosened up a lot. And in this, I actually don't even want to speak very much. My body is open, and it's a sense of, if a person were speaking to me, as if I'm drinking it into my senses that are mapped into my body. And I'm breathing more slowly and deeply. And really having a grounded sense of your presence with your body and with your whole being. This is the key to creating a space of active listening. Active listening is helping us to stay very present. And there's a sense, it might feel like we're really slowing down sometimes. Staying really present so that also we don't make any choices. Honestly, not even the moment that they finish, certainly not before they finish speaking, but you can give a therapeutic silence before you begin speaking. And sometimes it feels like creating some silence of any kind is going to seem like a long time, or we worry, what if it seems like I've lost interest? And in fact, it doesn't present that way at all when you're utilizing your position as an active listener. So a person finishes their talking. And then here is where I could begin to speak. Now, as an intuitive, as we all are here, using our intuitive faculties in the 4, you can actually not even know what you're going to say because you're letting spirit drop it down in for you. So I'm going to, again, break it down to how this plays into each kind of session. But one thing that is already showing to be very clear, I think, here is regulating your nervous system while listening. This is really one of the most important aspects of therapeutic listening, of active listening, is regulating your own nervous system. As the facilitator, your state of being sets the tone for the entire session. So as you are regulated in your nervous system, you are aware that you are safe and you are presenting safety. In guidance, in any kind of therapeutic situation, in guidance, in coaching, any situation where a person has been tagged to be the one who is leading, guiding, or creating that space for someone to become more whole. It really is modeling a parent-child relationship. In a parent-child relationship, no one really parents don't really have to be taught to regulate. It tends to happen, it happens naturally. Now, sometimes we get worried and then we do need to get taught it, reminded to do it. And when we are reminded and we're consciously taught, actually just hold your child. You might be like at your wit's end because your baby has been crying and crying and you don't know what to do and I'm so worried about it. And then sometimes you get through the stress of it and then you fall, like there's nothing left to do but just to calm. And again, a parent doesn't even have to know this. It tends to happen very organic. It is organic. Well, the thing about regulating your nervous system in a parent-child relationship, or in our case, a facilitator and a client situation, modeling the parent-child, is that the person who is with you, who is seeking your guidance, will likely co-regulate to your nervous system. And so we are presenting the opportunity for that co-regulation. And this is, as a major subject of this whole program, offering a coherence that can be creating a space for resonance. So as you provide nervous system regulation, which is a coherent state, then it is offered as a point of resonance. So this again is also very healing. If the person has offloaded some challenging information, and then they can come into a regulated state, their body is like, but you're safe, and you're safe. Oh, you're safe. And then now it's all out there, this information's out there, and it no longer threatens. There is a sense of confronting their demons. So when you listen from a regulated space, when you are grounded, you're offering that co-regulation. It is a subtle, energetic, and physiological invitation for the client to settle, to feel safe, and to access deeper awareness. And moving out of a fight-flight state and into a regulated rest and digest the sympathetic versus the parasympathetic, we're actually then at the precipice of being able to tap their subconscious mind intentionally. And also tap their intuition, which again, when we're tapping, that's the same. That's the same thing. In your intuitive sessions, this is why I suggest that we do things like invocations, which is a kind of induction. I find that it is a million times more effective when we tap the client's intuition. Because if they open their heart and they're dropped down into their body, and if we're doing something like mediumship and we say, Mom is wearing a dress with little cherries on it, well, if they were dysregulated and in their headspace, they'd be like, I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. It makes me even want to hold all this tension up here. And they go, oh, red cherries. Oh, yes, I know what that is. You see, gives them greater access to their whole being. It might be tucked away in their subconscious, and their intuition will be able to call it up as they are in that open space. So what this means in practice, the regulating your nervous system and being able to set yourself up for that active listening. Before the session begins, take time to ground and center yourself through breath and intention. Breath is the key to regulating your nervous system. And as intuitives, we have always used the breath to activate our intuition. These things all correlate. And in that time that you are also, you're grounding and you're centering yourself, you are breathing, you can also anchor in your position, your identity as the therapeutic facilitator, as the intuitive facilitator, as the one who is here to receive guidance on their behalf and deliver it. You see, it is a sense of holding authority, and yet we don't have to feel as though we have everything figured out because we have a higher authority. We have higher self, right? We are allowing we are so well equipped to be able to get this more than people who are working in clinical models without this being really just spoken of clearly. This piece of presence, because that's what we do in order to tap in and bring through intuitive insight. We let everything else go that has been preconceived and we bring it through, right? So take that pre-session time to ground and center and anchor your position, your therapeutic authority for that session. Then, in session, while the client is speaking, stay aware of your own body. Are your shoulders tense? Is your jaw tight? Is your breathing shallow, or can it be deepened? It's something we have to think about a lot, and we may be conditioned. I know I have been conditioned to hold my breath while I'm listening. So it actually was a reset for me to draw in this kind of a being space in this work. But it was necessitated, just like the parent coming to her mom at her wit's end because baby's had colic all night. At some point, she gives up and she starts co-regulating. She starts regulating, and the co-regulation happens. Well, in enough sessions, that's what I had to finally give way to. And now, having an actual process of it, I find that, it's simpler than we ever think it is when we're thinking on our own, as I say, going rogue, right? So then also in session, if you notice any tension, and just pay attention to your body too, because here's the other thing too. It doesn't mean necessarily that you've gone off just because you're holding some tension or your jaw is tight or you've held your breath or it's shallow. That could be a part of the alchemy. It could be a part of you actually receiving what the client is putting in. And as you notice and then come back to breathing and relaxing and loosening, then you are adding some fuel to the alchemical process. So that can also be telling. You can assume that your body is an empathic instrument. And some people have more empathic, capacity than others, just where your energy in your body, as we've talked about, about the different kinds of empathic or openness. But even a person who is like, if they had all in the human design, all 9 centers defined, which lends them less to that direct, literal intake of information, like as something that's highly empathic, and that's not that common, but it's still a thing. That person is still working a process of actively listening, regulating, and when they hear something, having the opportunity, their body may be creating an alchemical process of maybe there's tension. When I notice it, I will breathe and let it out, and that will serve the session. So we gently release it and release the tension and return to some kind of rhythmic and stable breathing. Allow your nervous system, your field to calm, and this will send that intuitive and subconscious signal: you are safe. I am here. I am present. We are safe. We are here. We are present. I'm here for you. I am here for you. Spirit is here for you. I'm holding the belief and the anchor of how Spirit will facilitate this session. I am here to channel as clearly as I possibly can with all of my heart and compassion for you in this moment, because you are that seen, you are that heard, you are that loved, and you are that correct in every aspect of your being. And we're going to get this done together now. Now, this is important. I care. I am here. God is here. The angels are here. Your ancestors are here. All of this can be communicated in your grounded presence. Co-regulation doesn't require words. And actually, as I already mentioned, therapeutic silence can be the most important thing that we offer from time to time. It can be the most, let's say, relevant thing that we can offer. If someone shares something that is so difficult, so painful, I hear you. I hear you. I'm here for you. Let's bring in Spirit on this. Yeah. It's transmitted through your tone, your posture, something else that's called prosody. Prosody means like the actual melody of speech. So these are things that this is the fractal points that we're not aware of. There is so much nuance that we couldn't possibly track it. And so we allow it, right? And then, of course, your attention, your full attention in this space. And the more you stabilize your own field, the more you are becoming that quiet anchor for the client's energy and for it to then find a way to organize and find coherence. And this is especially supportive if they are expressing emotion, if they're revealing something difficult or trauma or grief or something along those lines, or just navigating uncertainty and confusion. When a client presents confusion, this is a great gift that active listening will present for you. If you are someone who is empathic, or if you're someone who has an open head center, which 70% of the population does, you can take in thought energy very literally. And so someone's like, I'm very confused, and this is why, and this is why, and this is why. Now, as experienced intuitives, you've probably already gotten you'll recognize this when I say you're like, wow, this is confusing. Okay, perfect. That means I can't sort it out on my own. Let's bring spirit in. Let's bring in some clarity, right? So that's what this active presence will provide. It'll just provide you as the opportunity for the clear channel. So to recap, Aliyah wants to come join us. You want to sit here? I don't know how good she's going to do active listening, but we'll see. To recap, your state of being impacts the client's ability to settle. It affects the way for them to settle and receive. It is the first layer of healing for them. It's an important layer, and it's also a foundational layer of healing for them. Also, we want to ground yourself before and during and throughout the session with breath, with your body awareness, your somatic presence, and other kinds of gentle and internal cues that you might be picking up on. Co-regulation happens through breath. It can also be presented through your voice, your overall more subtle presence, the profundity of your presence, your energy, sometimes with words and sometimes not with words. The more calm and coherent is your nervous system and your energy field, the more naturally the client's system will also begin to organize and attune. So there is our overview, and then we're going to drill into how to use it more specifically in the next piece. Let's talk about how to apply active listening in different session types, starting with intuitive readings. As you are listening, you can just notice whatever kind of highlights for you. And this could happen in any way. It could be, for me, it sometimes seems randomly. So that's probably that it shows up like in a sense of claircognizance, where for some reason it's almost like they're speaking and then I feel this lump, and then I'll have to like replay what they just said. Or when they finish speaking, then I'll take that beat and I'll be like, there was something, because again, I want to stay present with everything they've said. I'll take that beat, I'll breathe, and I'll say, and then spirit will take me back to where I felt that kind of lump, if you will, in the energy, meaning like I felt this sense of, ooh, this is highlighted. But because it maybe came in claircognizantly, I didn't, and I'm staying present with every word they're saying, then I probably need spirit to give me a little rewind or a representation of it. So here's the thing. You almost never need to interrupt your client, but sometimes you do want to interrupt your client, but you almost never need to. It's like maybe at the most I might interrupt a client once a session. And it's only because I was like, wait, there was something logistically important there that I didn't get. And I think it's throwing off the whole framework here. That's when I'm so sorry to interrupt. Can you remind me, are you talking about yesterday or last week? Oh, I was talking about my dream, Okay, great. Thank you. Please continue. You see what I mean? And and it's just not that common. And it sometimes is because the client misspoke, you know. So at any rate, if there's something during their, it could be a sentence, it could be a speech, and it went like, ooh, for me, it's like whoomp. And then I wait until it's done and I take a beat and I go, you mentioned such and such. Yeah, yeah. She said this and that and the other thing. Okay. Can you say more about that? And, you know, that might then help you to get, that was actually the thing we want to ask spirit about. We're talking about intuitive sessions now, you know, because they go like, when am I gonna, when's the right time to buy a house? And they're like, because this, that, and the other thing, blah, 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 blah. But in the middle of there was something, they went lump. And I go, oh, you said something about this. And they go, yeah, well, it's because my partner doesn't want to move to Kentucky, but I really do. And I just don't know what to do about that. So anyway, okay, how about we ask about that? Oh, okay, sure. You know, that's just an example. It's not a literal example from any client at all. It just kind of came to me as a as a metaphoric example. But you see, that's how this active listening and your intuitive listening, I may have heard or received claircognizantly an energetic imprint there. And also, when we're actually listening, we might hear repeating themes or repeated words. When those repeated words are standing out to you, they may, I mean, obviously you might be hearing them literally you are hearing them literally with your physical ears, but if they're standing out, if they're repeating or they have this weight to them, that is because you're also hearing it clairaudiently. Interestingly, you hear clairaudiently while you're hearing physically, right? And also just certain themes, other kinds of emotional cues. One thing is you might notice in your active listening, someone says something that is, I would say is kind of, it could be difficult or devastating, or you know, just would, by what they're describing, have, it would be appropriate for it to have an emotional charge, and yet they're presenting it as shut down in the emotions. That's also something you're gonna feel in your active listening. They said this, but there wasn't an energetic alignment. So you see, and then we go, oh, you said that earlier. You said that a moment ago, or you just said that. Then you see what's going on here in the intuitive sessions as you're actively listening is that you might be finding the better questions to ask spirit. Whether you actually tell them that you're shifting the question, sometimes you do, and sometimes you just internally are adjusting it. Because I'll tell you this, the questions, this is a slight side note, but it's not really. The questions you ask spirit are portals that you're opening. Now, you might be able to get there faster by opening the right doors, meaning get to what your client needs faster. If you open the door of when are we going to buy a house, you might get close there, and you might, if you leave it open long enough and let things come through, then we might eventually get to my partner doesn't want to move to Kentucky and I do, and how do we resolve that, and what's there to learn about that, you know, and spirit will help us with that. But sometimes we, you know what I mean, like we can get there faster if we go directly. So listening for energetic imprints, repeating themes, emotional cues, either more or less emotion even. We also, in active listening and in intuitive sessions, we can mirror their words to validate them. And that's all across the board. And this is something to also do in your intuitive readings. And as you mirror their words back to them, in taking those questions to spirit, then you can actually deepen their receipt of it. Their heart can open more. So what I mean by that is they say, you know, so really, I just want to know how I can, you know, I'm just so frustrated about this situation. How can I resolve it? And you go, okay, great. So let's ask spirit, because you're so frustrated and we want to find a resolution. And so, okay. And you see, they were all like, yes, oh yes, okay, good. Whew. And they can relax now. It's like they can clock out of the having to, this is what I need, and they can just receive, right? We can also ask a body-based or feeling-based follow-up question. And this might be even before we start to ask the question of spirit. Why? because just like the previous point, it can help them to relax. It can help them to tap in deeper to their own intuition. It can help them to create more allowance, and it could refine the actual way that we're going to speak to spirit and help them to open up their receptors even more. I think I said that. So it's the law of repetition happening here. So we'll move on to the next one. That's intuitive readings. If you are, oh gosh, I'm missing a section. Excuse me, one second. There was a section I added to my notes, but I think I saved the wrong set of notes. So pardon me. I really want that section because I had something key. Okay, and I'm going to run my little slate just so I'll know that I messed up here. Combine my notes so I don't get off track. Okay, I'm going to run my slate just a little bit. Okay, moving on to the next one, using active listening and how it can apply in a healing session. And, in intuitive readings and healings, they have a lot of overlap, but I still wanted to give it its own little space here. And in healing, you might be really paying even more attention to certain somatic cues, subtle shifts in the client's energy field as they're speaking, because you're going to be tapped in energetically. And you'll be able to notice that while they set a certain intention for the session, even as they are sharing, that it's already starting to shift. And so you can also shift and provide something different for the energy healing. Listen for the language that is revealing internalized patterns or energy stagnation. So, as an energy healer, you will hear things that if there's some kind of looping, if there's something repetitive, or there's something that seems low, well, we can get in there. Those are cues as you're listening to get in there and move that energy in the way that is appropriate, balance it. You can also use reflection to bring awareness to the energy that you are moving. You could say it sounds like that experience is still being held here in your chest. Would you like to breathe into that together? You see, in the way that they languaged it and even the way they're presenting their body, and of course you're tapped in intuitively and seeing where the energy is, then you can also let them know that it's not just that you're seeing it as an energy intuitive, you're hearing it and they're a part of the process. I think this really helps them to be their own healer even more. And you can allow listening itself to be a part of the healing transmission, listening and speaking, receiving and delivering. Your presence is so transformative, and it is the reason any technique is transformative is because of your presence and the space you're creating as the healer. Now, in intuitive coaching sessions, we might want to begin with the deep listening before we start to offer coaching or direction. Now, I'm actually going to talk in here a moment about some misconceptions that can happen in coaching, and that sometimes active listening isn't properly taught in coaching, or maybe some people are self-taught coaches and so they just skip right to the direction part of it. And we here, when we do coaching, we do intuitive coaching, right? So we would bring the active listening piece in before we start to do the coaching. We would listen for themes around identity, their readiness to move forward into some kind of action, their resistance to certain actions, and their deep desires. And of course, you can see, well, this is what I do in intuitive sessions too. But this is how these things all overlap. You may already be doing coaching in your intuitive reading sessions. But with intuitive coaching, we're going to listen to those things because in a pure coaching model that isn't taking into consideration this piece of the intuitive facility, they could hear, this is my problem. They go, well, this is your solution. And it's really just giving directions. But as an intuitive coach with your active listening, you're like, okay, I see that this is the action steps, but they're not ready for it. So we're going to have to back it up a little bit and get them ready to be ready to be ready, you know? We would reflect on the client's language and give it back to them in a way that allows them to hear their own words and even hear their own wisdom in it. Because sometimes that's the piece that they're missing, and they just need to receive their own wisdom. Well, this worked before, but you know, blah, blah, blah. What worked before? You see, as a coach, you'd be like, well, you already have a process that works for you. Let's build that for you again, right? Use open-ended questions with them that help them to connect the dots within themselves. Now, this is one way for a certain type, but I'm going to continue with it. Using open-ended questions such as, when you said that, how did you feel? When you feel that that part of you is missing in your business or in your health, how does it feel? What is that? What movement is being asked here? What kind of action might come out of the sense of that is lacking, this is lacking? Now, that is if you're working with a person who does not have a defined sacral. If you're working with a manifestor, a projector, a reflector, open-ended questions are very powerful in your coaching process after your active listening. If you are working with someone with a defined sacral, a generator, a manifesting generator, closed-ended questions are much better for them. So when you said that, did that feel like a good, like a true statement in your body? That's a yes, no. So when someone said, there's no way that I can get this done. I'm at my wit's end, and I just can't. I'm giving up. When you said that, did that feel like a true statement for you? That's going to give you a yes, no. It might be a yes, great. Then we're going to start to move on the next thing. And then, of course, so the sacral in a person who has it defined responds better with the intuition from the yes, no. And that really is very important in coaching. So that's why I wanted to highlight it here. And if you ask an open-ended question to a person with a defined sacral, not always, but there can be a tendency to get up in their head and out of their body. And the converse is true for people without a defined sacral. Out of defined sacral, if you ask a yes, no, we actually get up in our head. It's kind of funny, but it's true. So that would be something that you would precede your active listening. You listened to what they said, and then you presented it back to them. You mirrored it back to them in a utilizable question for them to feel themselves. So in coaching, after your active listening, that's when you would start to present some action steps or some guidance or something that is more relevant to bringing in their soul alignment. Now, let's move on to if you were doing something that was using hypnosis, if you are a hypnotherapist or a hypnotist, or if you're going to give some kind of guided meditation, which, as you guys know, that is a type of hypnosis. Then in that intake portion, when we are going to then guide them into a deeper state, this is really where in their intake and their the beginning part of your counseling and you using your active listening, this is when their inner landscape is going to emerge. And so it's really important for us to be actively listening to all of it. Reflect on their words, their tone as well. And you'll be able to use this in your induction. You'll be able to use this in your guidance. You'll be able to use this in what you might notice of might be something that they would enjoy as imagery, something that they relate to. And what I mean by that, it could be like, I just want to get in flow again. That person might like to have some kind of a meditation or hypnosis that includes water, right? Or I just feel like I'm just stuck and I'm hitting my head against a wall. What would be the thing that frees them from that? Things are moving forward now. You're walking on your path and you're free to do it, you see? That portion of, and then always if they're giving you something positive, I want to get in flow. That's how we would know to use that. If they say something negating, I'm just stuck. Then we're going to find a way to say, well, what is it like when you're not stuck? Again, that is you not assuming what unstuck feels like to them. and letting them tell you, well, it just feels freer. I just feel like more confident. Yeah. So listening in this sense is it's not passive, and it's not like just waiting until they're done. It's actually already initiating the transformation. And even as you present it back with your meditative, your calm and hypnotic tone, they're already starting to receive the transmission. I think I did it. Make sure. Okay, yeah. Yeah. Okay, great. So I'll just recap, button this up here. Practical listening tools, your active listening tools is presence and pause. Take a breath before responding. Let that therapeutic silence land. Mirroring, reflect back the words, the phrases without interruption. Let it expand as you reflect it back, as you mirror it back to them. Energy tracking, notice tone, rhythm, and emotional charge, and allow it to present itself however it may. Know that your intuitive faculties are online as you are noticing something, even if you're noticing it with your physical senses. Your intuitive senses are also noticing them. And also, you can encourage along the way with minimum kinds of actual injections of speech. So, by the way, you don't have to do that a lot either. If they're on a pace, you can just let it land. You can wait until it lands a little bit and nods in silence that is holding the space. Just trust that as you are open, they're going to feel it, and you don't have to. Sometimes people overdo that. Because there is actually, that's when they aren't actually actively listening as much. There's a little bit of nervousness. So as you breathe more, that will just show up naturally. So therapeutic listening is a major part of the healing process, the active listening. And what we want to focus on, what we want to have, is that we want to practice offering presence without fixing or without planning or projecting. And meaning projecting, not like you're like, I'm going to project my negative thoughts onto you. More like, this is what solves this problem, because you know it's what solves the problem for you or even for someone else. And actually, as intuitives, you'll find that you have repeating problems with repeating solutions, but I always still stay really present and I don't assume. So if I have a repeating problem and it's like, is this the same solution as the last two clients? Or even like what happened in my life? I just sit there a moment and maybe I do ask a question to expand it and to open up their language a little more. And then I'll tap in and say, is this what's coming through? Am I making an assumption, or can you do we reset and refresh? And often it will be there. So just to be clear that sometimes spirit planned it and you didn't plan it, but be aware of your planning to offer something before the full presentation has happened. So as some homework, I would like to suggest that you choose an interaction today with an even fuller and even deepened awareness of this kind of listening without interrupting, without offering solutions. I feel like this would be really great to do with teenagers if you have teenage kids. I think active listening with teenagers is probably a huge challenge for parents. I can only imagine, because you want to fix it and make their lives better. And but maybe with your partner. And the key here is the good. There's a good reason sometimes why we want to fix. Well, there's a good reason why we want to fix. There always is. There's always a good intention there. We don't want the person to be in any pain or struggle. But we have to be aware if I am wanting to move them forward because I'm uncomfortable, or because I want them to have a fix soon so that I've done my job well. If it's our own anxiety or discomfort. Because if we can pace it at the presence of their healing, sometimes they need to not be rescued in that moment. They need to feel it out. And then we're going to be holding the burden with them the whole time. So these are things to deepen. So practice it in some kind of conversation, maybe just a personal conversation with a friend or with a family member. And you might already be doing it brilliantly. But like as homework, like see if you can really deepen it and take even more pauses and breathe even more. And here's a reflection that you can just take into your contemplation or your meditation. What changes when I listen from my body and my breath rather than my mind? And we can even just take a breath and notice that right now. My body definitely wanted to adjust, and the first thing that kind of fluttered up from my belly was like, oh, time is an illusion. We have all the time in the universe because we're connected to existence now. All right, let's see, where am I? I'm just reorganizing my notes so I can see them a little better. Okay. So I just wanted to take a little moment here to expand in the area that I've mentioned a couple of times, once in another lesson and once in these lessons here, about coaching versus intuitive coaching. And you know what? It's even like, what's this word I want to... Consulting. Yeah. I feel like consulting is a very almost like dry, masculine kind of process, generally speaking. And what I mean by consulting is like it would probably be totally appropriate for it to be totally masculine and just like logical. If I were a person who was like an electrician and I was consulting on how to like fix this problem in the house, I mean that's just very logical, right? Like I don't have to go, and how do you feel about your electricity not working? So when we're working in the human, we want to work with the human. I had a coach. Actually, he was my fitness coach, and he's an intuitive fitness coach. He doesn't claim that in his marketing or anything, but when I talked to him about it, he's like, "Yeah, no, you're right. I definitely am." And by the way, he has gate 19, and he's my fitness coach. And but you know what? He he goes more into just like giving instructions for how to do exercises. And when I found him, I was like, so like, oh my gosh, I'm going to keep working with you. Because a lot of other times that I've been in a fitness coaching situation, could be in a class or it could be individual. And the person is just like going by a rule, like, okay, now we're going to do 100 squats. And it's like, wait, that's not my fitness level. You know what I mean? That's not where I am right now. And sometimes in class, like they don't tune into everyone, and so they come up and they are pushing you, pushing you, pushing you, and I was just like, I don't like that, because it's not worth being sick the next day. And then one time I was in a fitness class situation, and I had a limitation because my wrist was like rigid, and at the time I was a bartender, and the coach was like, well, you just work through it, you just keep doing it, it'll be sore, but you'll work through it. And I was like, no, I have to work tomorrow and I won't be able to use my hand. And he was like, well, I don't know what to tell you then. So that's like some bad coaching. My fitness coach, he, when I say, well, this is how I'm feeling, or this is what, this exercise, I'm feeling a little tension there. And he goes like this, because he's gate 19. He goes, and I can feel his intuitive energy plugging into me. And he goes, okay, let's go over here. And it's brilliant. It's beautiful. He works with people providing supplements, like really like very involved supplement, and even some coaching on nutrition. So he's beyond. So that's where life coaching, I've witnessed, has not really dialed in for some people. I'm sure there's plenty of people they are this well dialed in. But I just want to point out the model of coaching that you might already be doing and that you can do. So the common misconception about being a coach is just offering advice, strategies, solutions in the moment to the thing that is the black and white problem that they have presented. Once again, if I'm going to be fixing a wall, that works, you know what I mean, for the most part. But in intuitive and therapeutic context, this approach can bypass the most meaningful relevant parts, and that is that they need to be witnessed in their truth, and that it isn't a one size fits all. Even if we're talking about how to, get my business profitable, we're working with a human being here, right? How I can get my business more profitable means that I want a work-life balance too. So we're dealing with the human being. We're not just dealing with, we'll work 72 hours a day, right? So in coaching, in some of the mainstream structures, it is outcome driven, and again, that's a positive thing that you can retain as a coach. You can make it outcome driven, meaning we're going to work to this goal of making your business more profitable, or making your relationship more balanced, or getting your dating life so that you can actually get your partnership. These different things that are coaching. So we have an outcome-driven framework. We have problem solving and goal setting. These are both really great. So coaching for problem solving, coaching to set goals. But again, it's not one size fits all. Coaching in this way, where we're only thinking about it in a linear sense and in that more masculine sense. When I say masculine, I'm not talking about man, woman. I think you guys know that. I mean, like it is just directive. It is active. It is, okay, I have a 5-step solution. You're going to do that because you have this problem, which I have already decided there's an answer for it. That really is conditioning people. Meaning, if someone tells me, came and worked, from this model to me, and they say, oh, well, are you only working 50 hours a week? Well, you should work more. I'm like, well, I need to sleep. Well, I mean, I only sleep 5 hours a night, so you should sleep 5 hours a night. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a reflector. I don't have the energy that some other people have. And I also just know my body, and I know my, again, work-life balance and my preference. So taking that active listening and therapeutic path to the problem solving, to the goal setting. That's where your work really lands. That actually does give us better outcome. And of course, action-oriented steps. So with us in mind of the active listening that we're talking about, these are all very valuable, and I really encourage us to consider keeping them as a part of our practice, and as an intuitive coach. And active listening is so well suited for this. Your intuitive listening is so well suited for this. So with our active listening, we aren't fixing someone, we aren't giving advice, and we aren't shaping their experience through our lens, but we are staying attuned, listening to what is emerging, not rushing to define it and then give it action steps too quickly. We will get to action steps, we will get to goal setting, but we got to get the human first. So especially if we're using our intuitive faculties, there's so much that is going on that is unspoken that's going to carry more weight, which will then lead right to the action steps, right to the goals that they can set for themselves. Sometimes in intuitive coaching, you might need to dial your client back from all the goals that they want to set, and they could be operating from some conditioning, and it's like, is that really the goal for you? So you see how deeply you can serve your client as a coach using intuitive faculties and using active listening. So by softening the impulse to direct too quickly, or allow the client's system itself, we can allow it to lead, and we can find then deeper insight, healing, integration, and all of this without trying to fix too soon. This is when you are listening more deeply so that the client can reveal what actually their problems are and what actually the solutions are that you can present from your expertise. So then, yeah, you can start to use some of that masculine action step, goal setting, outcome orientation, and holding them accountable, helping to find their motivation. You need to get into their humanity in order to stoke their genuine motivation, not just some kind of false willpower that's going to burn them out. So only after you've done this listening, we have established that space that can really offer appropriate guidance toward insight and action steps. That will then, all of that will arise from your resonance, not from reactivity, not from assumption, not from projection, not from conditioning, not from just taking them on their conditioning. And it's sequencing it in the right way where we're holding off on some of that action step directiveness until we've had that true, the giving of the energy of the client. We'll bring in grounded, relevant, and soul-aligned solutions then. So let's just button this up with what active listening is and what it is not, and just putting it in this coaching piece of what, the kind of coaching that isn't really for us, I would say, I guess is a good way to say it, right? So active listening is being fully present with the speaker, mentally, emotionally, energetically, holding a neutral, non-judgmental space, listening with the whole body, your somatic awareness, your energetic awareness, your intuitive awareness, reflecting back words, tone, emotion, all of this for validation. And when I say emotion, it doesn't mean you start crying because they're crying. It means that I hear your sadness, more of that kind of, or slowing your pace because of the emotional depth that is being presented. Tracking unspoken content as well, and what is felt but not said. Allowing pauses, those therapeutic pauses and silences without rushing them, without rushing to fill them, and letting the client guide the pace with their content. And at the same time, it maybe there's enough to be tackled in one session, and then that, you know what I mean? Like, even though they're guiding the pace, you can still keep an organized framework around it. Co-regulating through breath, posture, and grounded presence. That's all what active listening incorporates what it is. And what it is not is planning your next response while the client is still speaking, interrupting, finishing sentences, jumping in too soon, offering advice and trying to fix the issue before we've really heard everything that is the humanity of the piece that they're bringing in. Making assumptions or interpretations too early in the sharing process, leading with your own story or solution before you've really gotten the humanity from them, tapped into their intuition yet, rushing the client toward a solution or breakthrough just because you feel like that's what's going to be most successful, letting it be their pace. Using coaching techniques before the client has been fully heard. This is all what it's not, by the way. And trying to control the direction of the conversation too much. Some of that management can be beneficial, but overall, we want to let them guide it. So there we go. Some do's and don'ts, if you will. Some coaching distinctions that you can work with, especially as you are using active and therapeutic listening. Here is a technique to incorporate with your active listening human design. Now, you may be really experienced at this point in using human design, or you may be brand new to it. And either way, I think this is a technique that you can consider using, because unless it is a full human design session, like you're going to do a whole chart analysis for them, then you might be wondering, well, how do I incorporate human design in some of these places? Well, here is one that you can fold it right in with your active listening and basically listen through the lens of some aspects of their human design chart. Now, if you haven't really been using human design in your sessions yet, this is also the best way you can start to really learn human design and utilize it for yourself, others. So as a practitioner, what you can do is whatever the session is, ask for your client's information and look up their chart. You don't have to tell them anything about why. You could say, I use some of that information. And they're like, oh, I mean, and they don't do this, by the way. I have taken this information even before I knew about human design. I would take it because I would take a little bit of their astrology into account, and I'm not an astrologer. So I never don't worry about the expectations because they almost never ask why. And also as an intuitive, I would say, well, it helps me to tap into your field, That's all I have to say. But I do sometimes say I use some human design, but it doesn't, they're not going to expect a full reading or anything. That's not what they booked. So don't worry about that. There have been a couple of times where when someone has said like, oh, were you going to tell me about my human design? And often when they've asked that, I'm like, yeah, actually, that's like a spirit working through them. Yeah, it's a good time to bring in some pieces. So here's what you do is you take their chart information and you just review it. You don't have to go like down rabbit holes. I mean, sometimes we do because we like to, but I'm saying for the session, just review it, and you might intuitively let some parts stand out for you. I mean, obviously notice their type, what their aura type is, generator, manifesting generator, reflector, manifestor, projector, notice that. Notice their authority. They might be emotional, sacral, environmental, splenic, all these different types of authority. Notice their profile. 1-3, 5-2, 5-1, 2-4. Those three pieces are kind of the main pieces that are overall. But if there's anything else that just kind of pops out for you, maybe you're like, ooh, there's something about, maybe their undefined emotional center really is like standing out to me, even though that's already a part of what their authority is or is not. Or it's like, I'm feeling like something about that defined throat. Or maybe it's that gate. What is this gate? What is this gate 11 in the Ajna? That one's really standing out to me. Oh, it's called the gate of magical thinking. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. And, maybe it is you just learning about that piece, but it's probably because it's your client and spirit's already guiding you, probably is going to show up in the session. So just take that in, take it into the session, and then as you're actively listening, you have these set. It's like a lens of how they operate, their mechanics, and you might hear some things in there. That way that you can encourage them, again, whether you tell them it's because of their human design chart or not, you can still encourage them to maybe loosen some conditioning about that, or to actually move toward the gift of whatever that thing that has stood out for you is. So, for example, if you have someone who is like a generator, and we know that generators are their strategy is to respond. We let life bring them. Life brings them everything, and they respond to it. But sometimes, as we all are, they could be conditioned to initiate, and you're noticing that they're having some conditioning around here. So then you could say, I wonder if what you're sharing might actually relate to how your energy responds when you feel like you need to move something forward, like you need to initiate it. Do you notice that if you're able to wait or pause or just feel what feels good for you, does that seem to help situations? If you can let yourself feel if something feels good to you or not before you move forward? Well, sure, of course. Who doesn't? You see, that's what they'll think. You know what I mean? Like, we can reflect in that way. And of course, with the generator, ask them a closed-ended question, yes or no. And what if you have a projector and they're feeling really bitter, right? They're feeling disenfranchised. Would it feel more supportive to explore whether this theme might connect to a deeper need of being recognized, Do you feel like, how do you feel if I say, when someone recognizes you and asks for your expertise, how does that feel to you? And that projector would be like, well, I mean, yeah, that hardly ever happens. I wish that it would, because I feel like, see. So just hear it through the lens of some of those pieces that may have come out for you, and gently just ask some nudging questions. And again, whatever kind of session it is, if we're going to coaching to find some action steps, if we're going to an intuitive asking of spirit, getting the right questions so we open that portal that's most dynamic and powerful, unveiling the most healing for them. And these soft reflections, allowing the client to feel seen and supported without feeling labeled or interpreted or interrupted or anything like that. Over time, this approach really invites self-trust and can easily assist in the process of deconditioning. Always with love, always with compassion, always with that neutrality. And then, yeah, you could, if they have a sense of what human design is about, or if they want to know what it's about, you can say, well, listen, as a generator, this is how you operate. Hey, listen, as a splenic authority, this is this. You know what? I just noticed in your chart that you have that gate 11, and I'm hearing the shadow of it maybe. Can I just share with you the gift of gate 11, because I feel like that's a real resource for you, and it's in your north node. That means the way that you're moving forward. Can I share that with you? So then you can actually start to give them something that they can take away to continue to work with their own healing process of themselves for themselves. So human design, using it as a lens, just a few pieces, using it as a lens for your active listening. Hi, Jamie. I added you here. Courtney, if you want to join, I've just given you an invitation. And you too, Lori, if you're still there. I'm not sure if you are. So, what do you think? Any questions, comments? What do you think?
I felt like it was very thorough.
Yeah? Okay.
I mean, yeah, so coming off my first semester where we were practicing, learning some of these basic skills and listening, it I think is lacking in this clinical approach, the attention to the energy and to state, emotional state, things like that, because I certainly felt nervous when we were starting to practice, and I was one of the students who was like overly nodding, and
Because you're a little nervous, probably. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I was kind of, I wasn't fidgeting per se, but I was kind of swaying. And so I think I
You
was
were
my
channeled.
nervous.
Or maybe you were channeling.
I kind of feel like I was working with the energy that is more like of a nervous energy though,
Oh,
but
okay.
I was trying to like, I didn't consciously know it, but I saw it back in, reviewing it, and I was horrified. Um, a lot of us were horrified at what we actually looked like and sounded like. Um, but it's the learning process, and but I think I will be more aware going in of my state and my energy, and to keep coming back to breathing and being present, and that therapeutic silence is definitely emphasized too.
Oh, it is good. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And there was one thing I wanted to say, and now Merlin has interrupted me. But yeah, I really enjoyed these lessons.
Thanks. Good. Yeah, we're so lucky that, I mean, this is what was lacking for me in school, I think, because then, and I mean like just in regular school, when you're trying to learn something, that they're just trying to teach you how to do, you know what I mean? Like how to do things without that being. And so we're so lucky because we're tapping into being first, and we're letting being be the intelligent force here.
See, that's so true, because even if I'm thinking back to class, it's
Hi, you cutie. Oh, the big man.
my big boy. We had to watch for our certain things like our tone and our posture and things like that, but without it being explained. but without it being explained that would be those, if we had fidgeting and weird things going on with our posture or something, it would be possibly from our state, our
Yeah.
emotional state. It's like we didn't talk about that at all.
Right. Like, just don't do it. And then,
Yeah.
you know what it reminds me of? It just came in mind. I don't know if you ever had this, but like, you'd be, as a little kid, I'd be crying, and they were like, you better stop that crying or I'll stop it for you. And so I go, and I was like, I'm not crying. I'm just not making noises now.
Right.
I hasn't changed anything. But I'd get scared, so I would stop
Yeah.
just stop the physical expression of it. Yeah. Did they teach you to breathe and regulate your nervous system?
Maybe I was asleep.
Okay.
No, but no, I don't think so. Not really.
Huh.
You
Okay.
know, um, not in a way that I think it should have been.
Got it.
Maybe it was glossed over, but
Not emphasized. I feel like it should be
yeah,
emphasized.
it
That's why
should
I
be.
emphasized it.
Yes, you emphasized it, and I think it should have been emphasized.
It's
Or
kind of surprising that it's not, because it is actually quite clinical still. Because, like I said, even in the clinical model, we acknowledge that it is a parent child model, and then it is clinical, a part of parenting, to recognize co regulation with your child. So it's interesting.
yeah, I mean, I'm thinking back. I know that in my textbook it was mentioned that as first time counselor students, we're going to be nervous, and so some of these things are normal to experience, but there wasn't really talk about how to
What to do about it except stop it.
don't do it. It's like, okay. uh,
Yeah. The
yeah, it
world
was,
needs more, and needs more being.
yeah, yeah.
That's
And
the medical model.
Yeah, right?
oh, it's Lori.
Yeah, Lori's here. I didn't know if you were really here, but you're just here, not here on video, but it's just fine. Yeah. How about you, Lori? What did you, anything you want to share or ask?
Actually, the thing that resonated with me tonight was your explanation for why to do an invocation, to get the client to be in that space before you start.
Yeah.
And it never had occurred to me. Of course, I always do that for myself. And frequently in sessions, I do a guided meditation or I do something like that. But that's not at the beginning of the session. And so they're not there yet. And it makes so much sense to me now. Like I've been hesitant to incorporate it into my sessions because of the way that most of my sessions start. I mean, most people come to me because I'm a psychotherapist, not a healer. And, of course I incorporated all that in. And so they're like ready to talk and, tell me about their week, and they've got their journal with them to, whatever, to review dreams or whatever. But I really feel more inspired to make that a better, bigger, more important part of my practice, because I can see that it would definitely make a difference.
And if you need to stick to, like, if it isn't invited in the session for it to be intuitive, or do you see people that, like you said, they see you because you're a psychotherapist, but do they also accept and it's okay to use your intuitive faculties?
Oh, for sure. I mean,
Oh, okay.
everybody knows. Yeah. But,
Okay, great.
it just depends on what their situation is as to whether I do anything. Like right now, I have one particular client. I did a lot of energy work with her in the beginning, and now she's kind of stabilized and clear. And we're talking about a lot of things that she's already processed. She's older than me, and she really has processed and been in therapy for, I don't know, 20 or 30 years. She doesn't have to reprocess all that. So I'm bringing out limiting beliefs and things like that. And she's just blown away. Like, I've never thought about it like that. I've never,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I'll guide her maybe to say, well, tell me about what happened when you were 24 and when you were 53. And that's something that Spirit told me to ask.
Yeah.
And then she'll tell those stories, and then I'll find the link. Why did they give me those two to talk about?
Yeah, that's cool.
And then she's just, you know, floored by how, so the limiting beliefs and the patterns, the behavioral patterns, the response to those things and how they ended up here today, you know, that's a lot about what I do now.
Mm-hmm. That's really awesome. Yeah, I was going to say that if for any reason you needed it to be a bit more clinical, then you can do heart-brain coherence, you know, and
Yeah.
just connect them with their heart. Same thing. You don't
Yeah.
have to mention spirit or anything like that, but that's what that is. Or yeah, or guide them in a settling, grounding meditation, whatever, you know. But heart-brain coherence, you know, tapping into their heart. That's what I do at the, you know, for sessions. I really get them to their heart. That seems to be really valuable.
I find that a lot of people that come to me are intrigued and don't understand, you know, the intuitive aspect of what I do. And so I try to make sure I find a way to incorporate it, even if that isn't specifically what they need, just because they want to know that part of what I do, you know, and just have a little touch of it.
A little touch. You're just a little touch.
Here's what it feels like. Let me show you something. I'll do a little song and dance for you for 5 minutes, and then we'll get back to work. You know, something like that.
Yeah. Well, and you know, as they want to know that about you, they want to feel it. So they want to
Right.
feel it for themselves, whether they know it or not. They want to feel their own. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Cool. Yes, that is a big shift, is to actually tap them in. You move a lot further. I think that's what I noticed.
Yeah,
If you're getting
that
tapped
makes
into
sense.
their intuition and into their body, and they're already bringing it in. Then you know they're already facilitating the healing's already happening just by them being in their own energy, right?
Yep, exactly. Speaking of energy, you taught a lot about that on Monday, and you referenced a PDF. Where can we find that?
I know. I knew you were going to ask me that too. Because I'm like in so many. And so here's what I'm going to do. I knew you were seriously. I was like, Lori is going to ask me about it. So this is what I'm going to do.
You must be
I,
psychic.
I'm right. And also and I'm sorry you have to ask me about it, but I've accumulated so much that I'm trying to, like, there's so many plates spinning right now. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to just email you guys, like through the student portal. And I'm going to send you a Google folder link just to download
Oh,
that
okay.
and just make it easier, because I'm still trying to build the student portal. And so what I think I'm going to start doing next week, I'm going to start from the most current lesson and backlog, because what I'm doing, you guys, is I'm making a beautiful, I'll share it with you. I'll share something.
Cool.
I'm making it's beautiful. It's kind of like, in a way, plain, but I'm making a workbook to go with things. So I'll show you what it has. Show you an example of it. Let's see. Yeah. Oh, actually, I can't really. Anyway, well, I'll just read it to you. So we have the lessons, or I guess I can download it and then screen share it, because it won't allow me to just share screen on this one. I have to actually. And I have someone helping me with it, but I have to be very much involved, because it's like I do the content and this person is just helping me to organize it. Present this computer. Downloads. So this is like, for each class, I will give. It's taking a second to load. Each class I'll give you, and it'll be still in the description of the lesson, but then I'm also going to have a manual, basically, that's going along with it. So
Oh, nice.
this will be just like, each lesson will just have something like this. So you see, here's the this is what's typically already in the description. But then we've got, here's some prompts that you can do. In what ways do you feel called to serve others with soul-aligned facilitation? This is like the first lesson. How do you embody spiritual sovereignty and facilitation? Here's another prompt with it's much longer, that could have a longer response. And then these are like homeworks, but I call them offering. Review your services and language for compliance with the scope. And then I'm like, if you're a licensed therapist, you can skip this. Soul energy practice, lead a peer or yourself through an intuitive session. Anyway, so that's what you'll be getting for each one. Here's another one, a reflective essay if you want to do that.
Nice.
And then the manual is looking a bit like this. So everything laid out there. So you see it's going to be like, and so there's what I just showed you. So you'll get them, they'll be like, and then also the PDFs will be folded in there, but you see how this is more print friendly than the PDFs I make with big pictures and everything?
Yeah.
So you'll have the PDFs in there with more print friendly, if you're a person who likes to print things, but you'll have both. So as the manual, like I said, I'll get this first piece going and I'll give you the manual, but it's going to continually be updated each lesson. You know what I mean? But you'll still have the lesson one. But I think what's best is I'll start from the most current one and then I'll catch up on the backlog as soon as I can. And then that way, and that's the deal with the student portal for quantum resonance development for level 1 is I do have a student portal. I was trying to get it sequential and catch up to myself, but I'm like, you know what? It's just going to have to reorganize and as I go. But that's what you have to put up with me when you're as a founding member, and I thank you for it. But I'm going to send you the PDFs tonight because it is a really good PDF.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, no, thank you too.
So one more annoying question.
No, please, I need them. They're not annoying at all. They're highly valuable to me.
Well, so when I can't use the calendar thing because I don't know. I never did a calendar that will sync up with that. I have an old calendar and I just don't want to get off of it because I have too much history in it. Anyway, so the links end in June.
Okay, yeah, I will update.
Are there classes going to be in July?
Oh, you mean the links on that page?
So no, there are the links for each week, like for this class on Wednesday nights, only go through June. So there are no links for classes in July. Does that mean they're coming? Or
you mean for level 2? Sorry, I forgot.
Yeah, for level 2.
Level 2. Okay, so what I also put in the chat, but I will, I'll email it tonight with everything else too again, is I'll show you this super like lo-fi thing that I think you might like to use. It's just a living document. It's on Google Drive. So those are the calendar subs, but see here, and I'll take off the ones as they're used. I will take them off. I haven't done that yet. So you see, this is level 1. These are the links. And then we go to level 2, 7/9, 7/16, August. You see?
Oh, okay.
So check this because it's a living document. So that way, if I have to change, September 10th's link for whatever reason, it'll be updated. That's what you can work from. So you see, it's got everything here.
Oh.
And then here's the Sacred Sphere link. It will just always be the same one. So I didn't put it like on these dates, but here are all the dates.
Okay.
Is that cool?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
cool.
yes. Wonderful. Thank you.
I'm just going to share this with you right now. Lori.
There I am.
That one? Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So there's that one. And then I'll pop it in the thing tonight. But if you there's no point in downloading it because you're going to want to click through. Anyway, you're not going to go StreamYard.com. But yeah, it can change if anything needs to change. So that's why I put it on a drive.
Awesome.
That work for you?
Yep.
Okay, good. And, it's not in the Facebook group. They have the level 1 there in Facebook group, but that's because the people that were all in Astral Mastery are there. And so that's why the level 2 stuff hasn't gone in there because it doesn't apply to everyone who's there.
Oh, right.
I know you were using the Facebook group, but kind of only you were, honestly.
It was brief too.
Yeah, okay. Okay, so you have that, and I put it in the WhatsApp chat. I did put it, oh, maybe I didn't put it in the student portal yet, but I'll do that, and I'll also email all that stuff when we get done here.
Okay.
And I'll catch up. But thank you for, no, please do ask me. They're not annoying questions. They're really helpful for me, not only as feedback and encouragement about what I need to move forward when, because it's a big thing. I also, like Lori, like when you ask me something, I get a little of that sacral energy. That's how Jamie and I work. We get to sample it a little bit. We go, I got some of that now. Yay. It
Yeah,
helps
I
me.
got plenty of that.
We don't.
Okay.
All right.
Great.
Well, thank you guys. Anything else? Any that would
Nope.
support
It's
you?
8:00. I'm ready to roll. Thank you so much for
You
a great
too.
night.
You too. Thank you so much. And thank you, Jamie, for your feedback and your support and everything. And Laura, you too, because you're a therapist. I'm like, I feel like a little silly teaching to you and Kate and everything. I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? No, I
Well,
don't really, but
you never know when you might pick up something new, and I did tonight.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that.
Cool. All right then. Bye, Courtney. We love you. Oh, you're excited about the workbook? Thank Courtney. Thank you, Courtney. Okay, everyone, have a wonderful night, and I will see you. We don't have Sacred Sphere this weekend, so Monday. I'll see you then. Or
See you
sooner.
then.
Bye.
Bye.